Ever since I started full-time travel, one destination that sat at the top of my bucket list was Kerala. And when I finally got a chance to visit it, I realized it's not a destination, it's an experience where mornings smell of freshly brewed tea, where a meal isn't just food but a tradition served on banana leaf, where we talk through smiles, and where every detour leads to an unexpected adventure. Whether it's the stillness of boat ride in Kumarakom, the thrill of spotting a wild elephant in Periyar, or the unexpected kindness of a chai seller sharing stories by the roadside,
बहुत सुंदर है എന്നാ അടിപൊളിയാ എന്നാ അടിപൊളിയാ എന്നാ അടപൊളിയാ അടപൊളിയല്ല എന്നാ അടിപൊളിയാ
every moment here feels like a reminder to slow down and soak it all in. In this video, I'll take you through the places I explored, the flavors I devoured, the things I learned, so that when you plan your own Kerala trip, you don't just visit, you experience. Kerala, I feel like, is one destination which is ideal for family, budget travelers, solo travelers, all kinds of travelers. And let me now start sharing my Kerala experience with you. So we took an overnight bus from Bangalore to Alleppey, and me being me, I wanted to go to a more remote place. So we took a taxi from Alleppey to Kumarakom. It took us about 45 minutes to reach. Kumarakom is a lesser known, a quieter backwater town, and the first sight when we reached the property, this great property called Niramaya Resorts, and the hospitality was just top notch. And on the very first day, we went to this even more remote village called Aimanam village. And that day, I think, these are the kind of local experiences I genuinely travel for. Of course, because it was a remote village, there were language barriers, and we talked through smiles. So we learned how to make coir from coconut husk, or how they make shade from palm tree leaves, or in front of our eyes someone extracted toddy, freshly stored toddy right from a tree in front of our eyes, and we had that toddy.
Finish.
And that village walk in Aimanam, it is an unforgettable experience. And to reach back to the property, we took a boat ride in the backwaters, and it was surreal. Just the sound of the birds, the sight so pleasing, and locals waving hi to us. So, all in all, just first day in Kerala, it was amazing. I think this is a good time where I can share some places that you can also visit in Kerala depending on your travel style, beginning with more of the hilly regions in Kerala. So I want to start with Wayanad. Wayanad is so close to Bangalore, so if you have maybe less time and if you want to come from Bangalore, it's a quick 5-hour drive from Bangalore. You can reach Wayanad, and there's so much to do there. There are waterfalls, there are hikes. In fact, the Kerala's longest zip line also is there. So many good properties where you can have a staycation. So that's number one. Number two, of course, and I have a soft corner for this place, Munnar, because my experience there was amazing. You wake up to view of tea plantations. In the evening also, you can just stroll around. And even if you just end up staying at a good property with good views and good opportunities to hike around, your experience in Munnar will be so good. And if you're a chai lover, you can experience tea tasting and so much more. So Munnar definitely. Then there's Vagamon. If you want to explore a more offbeat place but also be around the hills and the tea plantations, that would be Vagamon for you. Again, a lot of adventure, a lot of trekking, even paragliding happens there, so that is there. And if we talk about backwaters, of course, be it Alleppey, be it Kumarakom, whatever you choose, it will blow your mind. Like staying in a houseboat in Alleppey will be an experience of a lifetime, or going to a remote village like Kumarakom will also be an amazing experience. And Kerala is so diverse. Like we already talked about hills and tea plantations and backwaters, and now even the beaches. You can go to Varkala. It's a beautiful beach town with so many cliffs overlooking the sea. You can watch crazy sunsets. You can learn to surf. It's one of the best places in India to even learn surfing. And great seafood if that's what you're interested in. So Varkala is there, and if you're in the mood to do something offbeat near Varkala, you can also go to Munro Island. Most people go there for a day trip, for a boat ride, but I would highly recommend if you're already going there, stay there maybe. I think there's also a railway station, so you can go from Varkala, which takes about 1.5 hours to reach the island, and it's a different world altogether. I couldn't make it, but I would have loved to go, so that's something that you can consider. So these are the overall places that you can consider when you're planning your Kerala itinerary. Now coming back to our first day in Kerala, after that that, we took a cooking class with the chef. Now, I am not someone who enjoys cooking, but honestly, when I saw the cuisine, when I saw the ingredients, I wanted to cook more. We cooked so many local delicacies: avial, toran, a veg stew, appam. I made appam for the first time, and that was a very, very exciting experience. There was also the soup that we made, and when we tried it, it was so rich, creamy, and I feel like my mouth is watering as I remember honestly that experience. The chef was amazing, explained all the dishes to us, and when we tried all that food, it's too good. Like the food in Kerala, again, so diverse like the state itself. And this is a good time to tell you what all food you absolutely cannot miss trying when you're in Kerala. The number one thing that I have to suggest to you is the Kerala Sadhya. It's a traditional thali on a banana leaf. And have it in the traditional way, have it at your property or anywhere out. Just make sure that this is not something you miss out when you're in Kerala. There are so many different types of curries. There's avial, toran, there's rice. There are basically a lot of things on the thali, and it's all so fresh and even healthy. So that was an amazing part. Of course, the dosa there is different. It's fluffier than what we have. So that was amazing. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but bananas, like the bananas in Kerala, you'll see them everywhere, and if somebody's offering you that, make sure you try it. It's different, it's better, it's yummier. The tea stalls in Kerala, overall, they're a different vibe altogether, so make sure you stop over, you have tea. Of course, if you're near tea plantations, you have to do that. They'll give you banana fritters, which is like a fried banana of sorts with tea. Make sure you have all of that. And of course, the seafood. I'm not a non-vegetarian, so I don't know, but I've obviously heard so much about the prawn masala and the fish curries and all of that. So if you're a non-vegetarian, you could try seafood as well. And if possible, I will recommend you to also take a cooking class in Kerala. That I think will just add to the overall food experience. And yeah, just 2 days in Kumarakom just ended like that. On the second day, I remember taking an Ayurvedic spa, which was so relaxing. I had heard so much about these ancient healing techniques and all these oils in Kerala, and let me tell you, the hype is real. And that day I felt so relaxed, so nice, and ready to go on for more adventures again. So from Kumarakom, we had a very quick stopover at Fort Kochi. Now Fort Kochi, if you're someone who loves history, cafes, art, all of that, Fort Kochi will come as an amazing surprise for you. I remember we just had one day, in fact just a couple of hours in Fort Kochi, and most of the time we spent in this cafe called Kashi Art Cafe. If you're going to Fort Kochi, you cannot miss it. Their burgers, there was this particular dessert, okay, this chocolate dessert that was there on every table, so we had to order it out of FOMO, and I'm so glad we did. One of the best desserts I've ever had. So Kashi Art Cafe, amazing. And overall it's an amazing port city. There's so much culture and so much history. Just walking around in that neighborhood will be such an enriching experience. So that was our next experience, Fort Kochi. And our final stop after Fort Kochi was Munnar. And before I convince you to visit this place this summer to beat the heat and how it has something for everyone, before that, let me share how you can travel within Kerala. And to travel within Kerala, now if you are traveling as a group of friends or a family, the best way for you would be to either have your own car or rent out a car, because road trip across Kerala would be a dream. The kind of landscapes that you'll be able to see, and you'll be able to stop at those tea stalls that I talked about and have those banana fritters and so many nice snacks that they give you. But anyway, not to digress. So that is number one. You can have your own car, rent out a car. And secondly, if you're on a budget or if you're traveling alone, then buses in Kerala would be your best friend. It is so well connected throughout. There are options to take trains also here and there, but you won't find them everywhere. But buses you will find almost everywhere, so at least in all the main places that I had mentioned. So buses would be your best friend if you're traveling solo or under a budget. We traveled via car from Fort Kochi to Munnar, and the landscapes were just breathtaking. And as we reached Munnar, the mist rolling over the hills, and I mean, you have to be there. The camera doesn't do justice. You have to be there to witness that. It was so misty and cloudy. We couldn't really step out of the property, and I was so grateful that we chose a good property. We stayed at Spice Tree Munnar, and just the views, the first half of the day we were just in this area where we could enjoy the views, where I could just take a book, read with those views in the background, and it was amazing, like the tea estates that you're surrounded with. And once it started to get a little clear, we went out for a quick walk around the property. And again, me being me, I asked the locals and the property staff to take me around to places that are not exactly touristy. And we randomly went for a hike, and it was so beautiful. And during that hike, I also learned how to speak a little bit of Malayalam. How do you say, how are you?
Usagum.
Usagum.
क्या बात है मलयालम में? एंडे പൊന്നടാവേ. എന്റെ പൊടിയാവേ. പൊടിയാവല്ല എന്റെ പൊന്നടാവേ. നിങ്ങളെ കണ്ടത് വളരെ സന്തോഷം.
Thoda easy. I had been trying to do that ever since I was in Kumarakom, but Munnar is where I think my Malayalam improved a little bit. I highly recommend, no matter what place you're traveling in, try to learn the basic words in any local language, and you won't even realize how well it helps you connect with the locals. So that was a great experience. And then the next day, somebody suggested visiting this dam. I'm not able to recall the name of it, but just the views, just standing over there, it was beautiful. And also there was a chance to spot wild elephants nearby, right? So that is also an experience that you can have in Munnar, but make sure you know when to go, or you go with a local guide. So we went, although we weren't able to spot any of them, but it was still a good walk, still a good experience overall. And I remember on our way back, there was this abandoned bridge of sorts on the way, and we went there, just walked around, stayed there, and just the sounds of nature. Or even if you just stop over to have butta and all that, the misty hills that you'll see in Munnar, it's very different from anything I had seen before. And in fact, when we had some more free time, we also, and this is specifically if you're as a family, if you have kids and you're planning a trip to Munnar, there's one more thing that you could do. There was this amusement park of sorts, an outdoor amusement park called Dreamland Munnar. And we went there, we did a lot of things. There was zip lining, there was some sort of a horror room, there was cycling, there was some sort of a trampoline, all of this in the outdoors with those hilly backdrops that I'm talking about as your playground. So that was amazing. Definitely if you're traveling with kids, that's something you can consider. And of course you will find lots of information other than that, the dams and the waterfalls and the peaks that you must visit when you're in Munnar, depending on your travel style. And I had to end my trip with two experiences that I enjoyed so much. One was another cooking class that I took, because this time I thought I was getting better at making those dishes, and we also learned a couple of more dishes. So that in Munnar again, and another spa session, because you cannot get enough of that when you're in Kerala. I would highly recommend you do that as well. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my entire Kerala experience. I know it was very different from any other Kerala experience that you typically hear of. But that's also what I'm trying to tell you through this video, that when you go to a place, make sure that you also talk to the locals. And because they're the best guides, they know the best, the most offbeat places over there, and depends on your travel style. But make sure you go out, definitely do your research, definitely watch videos, but also leave room to dance in the random rain that might happen, or just to be spontaneous overall. And it was such a surreal experience, cooking dishes that I had not even tried previously, or learning a language that I could not speak even a word of. All of that, like, that sums up my entire Kerala experience. And I have to mention that the people of Kerala are so, even if in those Aimanam village and all of those remote places we had language barriers, we were talking through smiles, they are so friendly. They will go out of their way to make sure you have the best experience or try the best food. So that for me personally was the highlight of the trip, the local experiences and the people of Kerala. So I hope you're planning a trip to Kerala sometime soon, and if you are, please let me know in the comments which places would you pick up first as your preferred destinations in Kerala, or if you have any more questions for a trip to Kerala, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.